Awesome. Welcome out. I wanted to introduce you guys to Ed Kimmel. Ed is a true cancer killer. He is going through some stuff right now that's not been so fun, but he's doing everything he can to kill it, not just in the natural, but also in the supernatural. So I wanted to let you guys hear a little bit of his story. So Ed, you went in and you got the call and you had a crummy diagnosis. Tell us a little bit about how that went and how it felt.
There was we thought we had a kidney stone we were dealing with, and when someone examined me and found a mass, they said, "This does not belong in there. I can't do anything more for you. Get over to the ER right now."
Ugh.
So that was an interesting trip right over there on a Friday afternoon, and got to spend roughly 18 hours and with the CT scans and all of that. And at 7 o'clock, p.m. the next day, Saturday, I was released. And we're going to get into the cost in a minute, I'm sure, but that was a $25,000 18-hour visit. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's tough. So cancer doesn't care if you're busy. Okay, it will make sure you will make time for your health when you have to make time for your health. Okay, and they recommended some treatment. I know you're doing some chemo and some other stuff. How's that going? And what's it like when you show up to go get chemotherapy?
The tumor was growing. It had squeezed off the ureter between the bladder and the kidney, and it was about 70% wrapped around the aorta, and no one told us that. We saw that ourselves on the scans, and there were some other growths too in my body in other places, and no one even talked about that. They said, well, if that's also cancer, well, this will take care of all of it. They were mainly dealing with a small one, 4 by 9 centimeters, that had that was actually squeezing off some the ability to go to the bathroom and all that. But it was real painful. Did I answer the right question?
Yeah, and so they recommended treatment. They wanted to kill it. The way they went at it, they wanted to go and poison it, which is with chemo.
Chemo is poison.
So how'd that make you feel?
Well, thank goodness I didn't want to do radiation, because I really was totally against that. I've met people that have had different radiation treatments, and getting burned and paying for it was not my idea. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. But when they come in to do the chemo, the nurses put on all kinds of protective gear, from their gloves, their hats, their masks, their coats, and I'm like, wow, that stuff must be pretty potent. And they're laughing, jokingly, we don't want to get this on our body. And I'm like, well, you're putting it in my body. What the heck is going on? So yeah, that's pretty interesting. But it's chemo is like going after a cockroach in your house with a shotgun. Blows the poop out of everything around it. It'll get the cockroach. But every other fast-growing cell in your body will be destroyed, from your GI tract, and it messes with your immune system. I know this handsome head of hair here. It used to be a head of hair. It knocks everything out. It knocks you out. It's really not good for you at all.
And then obviously you did really well with that, because I know you did some things in the natural, some of the things that are recommended in our cancer book. You did some things that are within your power to make sure you stayed as healthy as possible while they were going to attack this stuff.
I've been labeled by a couple of organizations in town that do different cancer centers as a non-compliant patient, because when they would give us a protocol and they would tell us what they wanted us to do, we'd look at each other and, like, my wife and I, we'd go, did you like what you heard? And she would, no. So we'd go and pray about it and talk about it. We'd come back and we'd say, actually what we really want to do is this, or can you lower the amount of the chemo, like they do in Germany, like they do in other developed nations where they have a better record of survival. And they're like, no, this is our protocol. And they're very into what they do. And I'm not saying it's about the money or anything like that, but you can do cancer killers. You can do, my gosh, I say the Budwig protocol, and some of the other things like that are what you need to do. And even if you don't have cancer, or there's no it's not in your
diagnosis of it.
Yeah, diagnosis, or it's not in your family. I would suggest a cocktail daily with flaxseed oil. I would go find out what I'm talking about. Go Google Johanna Budwig. Find out why she's been nominated for 7 Nobel Peace Prizes. Why her writing is just, she's renowned around the world. And you talk to local physicians and they don't even have a clue.
Right, and what he's talking about there is good fats. Your body needs good fats. You need your omega-3s. You need your omega-6s. You need them in the right ratio. And And it's in our Cancer Killers book. You know, see me, I can help guide you with that. Ashley here in the office is really good. She knows some yummy, yummy recipes about that, so I'm sure Ed can help you out too. And so, Ed, is one of the things you mentioned to me is it changed your outlook on life. And as we go through Cancer Killers, whether you're going through it or you don't want to get it, or you've had it and you don't want to get it again, the 5 essentials are key. And that starts with essential number 1, which is maximizing your mindset. You went through this with a mindset that I'm going to kick this thing's butt. You went through that leaning on your faith and leaning on God to help you through this, and leaning on your family. I know you have a big family structure. Just talk to us a little bit about the mindset that it allows you to overcome.
You have to have a positive mindset. You're going through something that wants to kill you and take you out early. I'm only 64. Have a lot of life and a lot of things left to do. So that was my attitude. Look, you have to, if you will, you have to look, you have to see farther, if you will, or look farther ahead. If you don't have a 3 or a 5 or a 10, or I have a 20-year written goal or mapped out plan, if you don't have that, then you have, I mean, imagining walking, you know, one of your younger daughters down the aisle in 15 years, that's a good thing to hang on to. And then we had people posting, well, my wife posting on Facebook, and all of a sudden we had people coming out of the woodwork. It was a wonderful blessing. People we had no idea had any kind of level of spirituality. We're like, we're praying for Ed, we're praying for Ed. I'm like, I don't remember them ever being, we talked to them about God in the church, they'd be like, laugh at us and go have another beer. And we're like, wow, how did all this happen? Anyway, there was a transformation in hundreds of people. So we gave them something to do, which is really good. One of the businessmen I'm a consultant to, he said, oh, I feel like I want to pray for you. I said, good. I said, I need the prayer and you need the practice.
I love
so we had a lot of fun, you know, with stuff like that. People we're not, when I go into the Fusion Center, people seem to be without hope. And I would joke and joke around with them and stuff like that. One time they looked at my chart, they looked at my armband, they went back in and sent another nurse out who looked at my chart, looked at my armband about 3 different times. And I'm like, well, is anything wrong? And they go, Mr. Kimmel, you're just look too good for what your chart says. I said, well, I'm having a good day. I'm having a good time. What's the deal? You know, I'm going to get over this. I'm not worried about it. If I can afford your treatment, I'll be fine. I'm not worried about the cancer. I'm worried about getting over the chemo.
Yeah.
And that's why they probably call me non-compliant.
Yeah, but you did what you needed to do. You listened to your body. You did your own research. You did what needed to be done because you know your body better than any doctor is. And I'm not sure what the protocols are. You got to listen to your body, and I know that you did that. And you know, and you did your homework too. You're eating correctly. You had the right mindset. You're getting adjusted. You're doing your exercise. You're doing everything you needed to do to kill this thing. So, anything you want to add in closing here?
I missed a few weeks of getting adjusted, and when I got back in, he goes, where have you been? I was about to come and get you, and I got adjusted back to back, and the transformation or the difference, you don't realize when you're not aligned correctly just how bad everything actually is. You don't know how bad you feel until you have an adjustment, and then suddenly it's like, you know, like an energy drink or something like that. So don't miss that as part of the protocol. But there's a lot of natural things to do, and you'll hear words like from your doctor about the body of evidence or you know, evidence-based research. And I laugh and I go, whose evidence? And do you pick and choose? Is this a global warming thing? What, you know, you don't like this report, so you throw that out. So it's true. Do your own research, and I've walked out of my treatments 2 times where I said, you know what, I'm not into this today. This isn't working really. I feel really bad. I got real bad nausea, and I'm done with it. And by the way, all the nausea medicines that they were giving me weren't working well at all. And somebody introduced us to some oils, and we started using some natural oils, essential oils, I think. And that really worked as good or better than the prescription stuff that Blue Cross wouldn't fill, and it didn't work.
Yeah. So, and the key point here is that I think the takeaway I want people to get from this is, Ed, you took control of your life. Right. You took control of your health. It wasn't someone else's procedure. It wasn't someone else's protocol. It was you and your life and you overcoming it. You owned it, so you were able to overcome. And I think that's the biggest thing for people to take care of. And if it's cancer treatment, by God, please come and see us. What we can do to help you is make sure you're living the 5 essentials. We have resources beyond us with Charlie Majors, who wrote the book. There's oodles of centers in the back of our book, and we can get you in touch with us to help you guys as you're going through this. But the biggest thing is, don't get it. Live the 5 essentials. The chances of that happening in your life with the things that we're going to go through at Makeover is just radically reduced. So we just want to make sure that we're reaching out and getting as many people as we can to come and live these protocols. Ed, thank you very much.
All right.
So have a healthy day.
All right. Thanks, Doc.